speculation about the universe. There's this question of, well, where did God come from in the first place? And then there's this question of why, if it's a designer, why hemorrhoids? So, yes.
Right. Well, to take the first one, it's quite clear that Michael and I differ fundamentally on what we mean by faith. Because you see, faith to me is part and parcel of my life as an intellectual and a scientist. Scientists believe certain things. I believe in the theory of gravitational attraction. Why is that? Because I've evidence for it. I believe that my wife loves me. Why? Because I've evidence for it. And my Christian faith consists not in faith as a leap into the unknown. It's evidence-based commitment. Otherwise, I wouldn't be remotely interested in Christianity. And I notice that Richard Dawkins' faith is heavily evidence-based. That's why he writes a 400-page book called The God Delusion. So I think we've a fundamental difference about faith. And secondly, I didn't use the word proof, Michael. I'm too much a mathematician to use the word proof. I think it's a question of evidence. It's very interesting to me that when Paul talks about the impact of the universe, he says that the existence of God and his power are perceived through the things that are made. It's a perception. And what intrigues me is that perception is admitted by so many people that you would think would not admit it. Dawkins says it's terribly tempting to believe that it's designed. Stephen Hawking co-authors a book called The Grand Design. Why? Because he sees design. And then there comes all the arguments that I don't find convincing to say, well, it's not real design, it's only apparent design. So that's the first thing. My faith is an evidence-based commitment. Secondly, the question of who designed the designer. And Richard Dawkins put that to me, and it's the heart of the God delusion argument. If you say God created the universe, then you have to ask who created God. Well, do you? Because if you ask the question, who or what created X, then you're assuming that X was created. But the biblical God wasn't created, so the question doesn't even apply to him. So it's one of these questions that you think is asking something seriously important, but it misses the point. And I actually put it to Dawkins in the end. I said, your question makes no sense apart from about created things. But I don't need you to tell me that created gods are a delusion. Most of us think they are. We call them idols. But I said, let me try your question on you. You believe the universe created you. So if your question is valid, let me ask you it. Who created your creator? I've waited 10 years and got no answer to that.
Before you come to part 3, because the hemorrhoids question is really a question of evil, and I think I'm going to park that, and perhaps we'll come back to it a little bit later on. But we've got plenty to talk about.
Which means it's not.
No. I do want to address it, but at least with these first two issues, and John's responses there, Michael, what's your take?
I particularly want to talk about the first one. This whole question of